Alright. Give us the lowdown for the VOD. Alright, so character, he played Terran in previous seasons. He's like, you know what, I'm sick of these Protoss players. They're always just building units and then killing me. And so character said, you know what, I'm going to be a Protoss this season. And Durandal is the first in a long line of character, like, getting revenge for playing Terran. He is fulfilling every Terran player's fantasies of playing Protoss and beating Protoss with Protoss to make Protoss players cry. And with that, we're going to be hopping into Game 1 on Vermeer. The map that Polypoid wishes it could be. Alright, okay, StarCraft music. On. Complete audio clusterfuck. Yakuza music. Off. StarCraft music did not turn on. No, it did. Okay. And then... I have to do like a fucking transition. We're gonna be hopping into Game 1 on Vermeer. Oh shit, hold on. I have a whole ass... Here's our intro screen. We have the Southeast Asian Laggers versus Crimea River. These are our champions for the day. You may need to up your desktop audio a bit again to even it out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to bring it up here. True, my StarCraft is very quiet compared to the regular stuff, so... You know, we're going to put it right there. How's that? Sounds good. All right. And let us hop into our first game of this match. It's going to be a good one. In the... Oh, shit. Oh, Lamau. Oh, god damn it. I didn't set up... Oh, fuck. Alright, well, that was a fast pull. I didn't set up the, I set up the screen in the wrong fucking, scene on OBS. It's fine. In the bottom right, we have the yellow Protoss character, which lightly rhymes with carrier. We have, however, our second player, our blue Protoss player, has their fans in the chat chanting their name. It is Durandal. Both players building a pylon in their bases. These are not Scimo approved Protoss strats. Alright. His character, Mad Dog is asking his character only in New Jersey. Oh, that actually is probably what he's doing. Fuck! Oh my god, there's a whole other way I could have gone with that intro. Character is a reflection of our players' worst selves. It's like the fucking character is embodying the final boss of Zelda 2. So when you turn your head to look at chat, we can't hear a thing you're saying. You know what? Maybe you don't want to hear what I have to say about chat. Just imagine I'm making fun of you, and there we go. Character is if they're just playing mirror matchups, they're just the final boss of Zelda 2. They're the Dark Link that shows up, that reflects, you know, all the terrible things about yourself. Oh my god, I'm building cybernetics cores before second gateways. What a wild ride. Never mind, it was better when we couldn't hear it. Wah. Pain. Alright, second gateway coming down for Durandal. Character, meanwhile, is just getting their cybernetics core coming up. So we are going to be seeing probably some type of 2-gate goon type thing going on here from our blue Protoss player. But character, meanwhile, is going to have their own Dragoons already building and range starting pretty fast. If this is a 2-gate goon, character should be able to hold the ramp fairly easily, but he has not scouted that yet. His probe will finally be getting down there. Wait, so you can crouch in the corner, spam beta whenever mirror if we're going on Zelda 2. Dude. Oh, man. I mean, that is what Terran is, right? Is you just crouch in your fucking main and nat and spam tanks? Spam QQ. Alright, first Dragoon out. God, I need to play Zelda 2 again. That game's so good. No shame in choosing. Alright, Durandal coming up. Now, it looks like we will be having a denial of the base at least. However, character kind of already has like a just as much army as Durandal has out now. If character pushes down, they probably could easily push this back and blunt the momentum that Durandal has. Zelda 2 really is the Dark Souls of Zelda games. What's the probe doing here? This probe is here for moral support, and also maybe a shield battery. Yeah, like, it might just be here for extra damage. You don't know. Probes, little known fact, probes counter Dragoons. Little known, not as much as SCVs counter Dragoons, but they do it. If you were to be like, hey, Scimo, do you want an army of Dragoons or an army of SCVs to, like, fight the other army? I'd be like, damn, give me those fucking little miner dudes. Alright, we do have an observatory done for Durandal and for character. Both players getting up super standard PvP stuff. However, character did get their third gate out a little bit faster. Even though Durandal had their second gate out. It looks like character just kind of has enough to push this away. But Durandal is setting up to take their base a bit sooner. Now, they will have to just defend from 3 gateways pumping Dragoons. And if character smells blood in the water, they might just be able to take a nice engagement here and push back like Durandal. Like, if this base gets canceled, it looks really bad for Durandal at this point. This shouldn't be a ooh, really cool probe snipe like that. Yeah, so character's gonna have to back off. There just really isn't gonna be enough room for them to be able to stop this base from coming up, so they're just gonna counter expand. Observer almost got chased down, but instead it just kind of moves away quietly. Character getting that Citadel of the Dune, so we are getting into the more normal part of a PvP. So neither player is really going for that like immediate kind of high pressure bus type play, but PvP can very much switch on a dime. It's kind of like PvP is kind of like ZVZ, but with your army instead of like your worker line. Where like with ZVZ, the whole goal is to like kill the opponent's workers and then you win. In like PvP, it's kind of like that, where like if you just lose your army once, you probably are gonna lose the game. Because it's snowball, like this matchup snowballs so fast with the gateway units. So Durandal has begun mining at their natural base. Character has theirs up, but they haven't done the transfer yet. Both players... Well, character is just going, like... upgrades, speed zealot timing. So this isn't a DT citadel. This is a that's a speed zealot citadel, and speed zealots are really fucking good. Speed zealots also counter dragoons. Those fuckers, them's fast. Durandal, meanwhile, is getting into Reavers, which is pretty good against, like, Reaver Shuttle, which is good against, Zealots. Just obs and characters, Nat. Yeah, this is just observers. Characters not got any shuttles. They said they are finally getting to that Templar tech, but I have a feeling that it's more for +2 than it is the, no, yeah. It is, you know, storms are really good. PvP, the 2 tech routes. Now there's the shuttle that we're looking for, slowly moving across the map. It is getting its speed upgrade. In PvP, you can basically either go Reavers or you can go High Templar for the mid game. That is, if you aren't, you know, cool and awesome and going for Dark Archons, but that's neither here nor there. You can basically either go Reaver or High Templar because you need that big splash damage to be able to, you know, hit all the Dragoons, like weaken up the Zealots. Yeah. We do have some extra buildings coming up in character's base here. Photon Cannon is coming up to be able to deflect shuttles. However, there is no observer set up to be able to look over this mountain. So this Reaver might get a couple of good shots in. Oh, it actually lands right outside the range. And it aggroes on the Photon Cannon. There it goes. Huge shot there, losing like 5 observers. Big damage. Losing 5 observers and 90 shields on a Photon Cannon. So pretty good drop there by Durandal. Very close to losing it, though. Holy shit. That shuttle is very lucky. Now, Durandal is going to try to move across the map, and this wall of Dragoons is going to be impassable. Yeah, and now with the Speed Zealots coming out, they're going to be able to get on top of the Dragoons and the Reaver. And if oh gosh, the shuttle rallied in the exact wrong area. Now this Reaver is going to shred through the Zealots, so that's very good there. And it looks like character's army is slowly being whittled down. Unfortunately, they do not have like I said, they don't have the High Templar. They do pick off the Reaver, which means that with the Dragoons and the Zealot reinforcements, they should be able to turn the tide of the battle. But if Durandal has another Reaver coming out, it should be able to hold the natural until character is able to field their second layer of tech. But it looks like no Reaver is on the way. There's none in production, none in the main, none in the natural, and it looks like character is just going to be able to flood over and at the very least kill this base. And it looks like Durandal making the decision that if he loses this base, he loses the game, which is the right decision. He's going to have to fight and try to defend here. Unfortunately, the probes are getting taken out. There's only 4 Dragoons here to the 8 of character. And, I mean, yeah, that's it, right? More Zealots coming in for reinforcement. Many Zealots rallying out of this huge gateway count. Unfortunately, they are slow Zealots, which means they do absolutely nothing to Dragoons. A High Templar shows up for moral support. He does have a Storm available. We have a couple of probes here ready to expand to the natural with the Manor Nexus. But it is looking like big Storm on the Assimilator, really showing that, you know, what this game is all about. Big Manor Storms there. Zealot coming in. It looks like the probes are actually laying down pylons to cannon rush the natural at 12 minutes. I mean, honestly, this is kind of cool, right? Because if they actually get the cannons up, the Zealots won't be able to fight the Dragoons as effectively, and this base will be permanently locked down for at least a little while. More Zealots rallying out. The Dragoon count is thinning, but the pylons are underway, and if those pylons get up before the Zealots can get down here and deal with all of it, then the damage output on them... Oh, actually, never mind. That's a shield battery. But we do have some pylons coming up. Big storm on the Zealots weakens them up just enough for the Dragoons and the other Zealots to be able to come up and finish them off. And it is looking like Durandal is getting knocked out of this game with their 9 gateways to character 6. GGs are called. Character takes game 1. Pretty convincing fashion. I mean, they just made a lot of really good decisions in that game, holding this ramp with that solid Dragoon line, playing really carefully, getting these photon cannons up just in time for the Reaver drop, and I mean also a little bit of luck, you know, picking off that low health shuttle as it was flying back to reinforce the main base. That was like a whole Reaver. Let's take a look at our scorecard for the game. Character, great in all stats, built a bunch of units, killed a bunch more. Very close in the production, though. Both players constructed 32 buildings. Wow. That's pretty crazy. So this was a pretty close game. Both players had access to about the same amount of stuff, but character just kind of executed it a bit better. With that, we'll move into game 2, which is going to be on the second map, Ascension. Mandog says, man, looks like you chose a quick and decisive series. It really does look like that, huh? Next, we'll move into Ascension. I personally really like this map in the specific way of I don't really like this map at all, actually. So we're going to hop into it, and we're going to see what a PvP on Ascension 2.0 looks like. In the bottom left corner, we have our yellow protoss once again. It is character representing the Southeast Asian laggers versus their opponent in the blue, Durandal, representing Crimea Reaver. Yeah, Ascension is a pretty interesting map. It has a lot of fun little pathways, cool attack routes, weird expansion layouts. It is also a low-to-low ground map in like the natural to the main, so it's very likely that if you do a more aggressive match... Hey, Scimo, what's your favorite team name? My favorite team name is the Notorious SCV. I think those guys are really cool. I think they're really cool. I think they're really talented at the game, and I think they chose the best team name and portrait. I think Notorious SCVs, I think they're favored to win. BR7 House, welcome to the chat. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. Not because I don't think cheered one bit. Hey! Thank you, man. That's cool.
I've been sent by the Conclave to serve and counsel you.
Yeah. So, Notorious SCVs, I don't even think that they're going to win because they're better at the game. Also, characters doing a 2-gate, which, I mean, on this map is a really good idea because it's a low-to-low ground, like I was saying. I don't even think they're going to win because they're the best players. I think they're going to win because they're the players that have the most heart, okay? The Notorious SCVs, those guys, they really are actually the best player. Never mind, I take it back. They're all amazing players. I don't even see how the other teams can compete. They might as well just give up, in my opinion. But, you know, we'll play the games out, and, you know, they'll win every week. It's fine. I'm not biased. So, we went 2-gate gas. Interesting. So I guess the gas is in response to being scouted. But Durandal getting a Forge out, which is also a good response to 2-gate. Usually, so if you see your opponent going 2-gate in PvP, you have two options. You either get your own second gateway or you get a Forge for cannons. Both are valid. Is it the first game? This is the second game of our series here. Character took our first game in a pretty decisive series. Oh, laying down a little pylon to block the Nexus. Alright, and we have 3 Zealots on the way marching across the map, while Character is going to be going more into getting their robotics bay. Interesting. So the pylon is going to finish here to prevent the expansion from being taken quickly. Now, Character is going to have to... Okay, so see, we're seeing a little bit of indecision here from Durandal. We're getting that second gateway up before we get any of the tech as well. Actually, no, that's a photon cannon up in the main. This is actually really bad. So, if you're getting the Forge... Oh no. We're definitely seeing a little bit of a lag on the micro there. The Zealots really want to turn around and kill this probe, though. It takes 3 Zealot swipes to kill a probe. So, if you're in this situation, like, the Dragoons are dancing away, like, focusing down the probes are 100%, like, just as good an idea. Oh, that Dragoon is so close to dying, but the Zealot AI freaks out. This one is so close to dead as well. And if that Dragoon lives, that would be crazy. They're trying to get these damaged probes, but it looks like ultimately this attack from Character did not really do much. Lieutenant Shefto says, what's the point of sending a probe in the attack? There's a couple of things that it can do. So you're threatening, I guess, building the shield battery, which this pylon kind of helps support. You're also adding just a little bit of extra DPS to your damage. That matters more in PvZ, where 2 Zealot swipes and a probe hit kills a Zergling. But in PvP, the extra damage is okay. Your opponent probably isn't going to be focusing down the probes, but alright, looks like Durandal is going to get their expansion up pretty quickly. We have our robotic support bay up, so we are seeing our Reavers here pretty fast. But again, I think that attack from Character could have been executed a lot better. There's a lot of opportunity to get free probe kills, free probe harass, and it just looks like it didn't work out. Sometimes that happens, and that's okay. Our first Reaver is out for Character, so they will be getting their expansion a little bit, about halfway behind Durandal. And yeah, Durandal is going to be setting up to be able to put pressure on Character's natural. Character getting their shuttle out to be able to start putting drops into Durandal's main. Probably just do like a Reaver along the bottom and up into the main there. Unless this is an easy loss for Character. 5 Dragoons is a lot, and if the Reaver gets a couple of dumb shots... Oh, but it looks like they're going to be trying to target down the Zealot. So if the Reaver gets a couple of dumb shots, this amount of Dragoons could easily break this little bit of army. But that definitely is a risky attack if to commit to it as a risky attack. Durandal, meanwhile, is going into the Templar tech, so we've seen the reversal of what we saw in Game 1, where Character was getting Templar and Durandal was getting Reavers. High Templar... It's a bit interesting. High Templar are a bit harder to control, but you're more consistent with the damage, or you can more easily control where the damage is going to go. Reavers, I think, in general, are... the potential for damage is a lot higher with Reavers, but they're a lot more finicky to maneuver. Whereas High Templar, they're easier to snipe, and you have to actively be using their storms. Whereas with Reavers, like you have to be kind of baby them around. They're really dumb. They're not maneuverable at all. But Scarabs do a ton of damage. Here up how went the first game on Vamir. Our first game was settled by Character doing some character assassination. That makes no sense. And knocking Durandal out with a pretty strong, like, mostly Dragoon Zealot, like speed Zealot attack. And we do have the photon cannon set up in the natural. Is this also a cannon? It is. So this should be fairly safe from the... Well... Alright, Scarab is going to ping a photon cannon and then retreat. Nothing more that can really be done there. Most of Durandal's army is actually halfway across the map. This is looking a little... almost exactly like a reverse of game 1, but we do have 2 Reavers with the Dragoon army instead of 1 back at home. This shuttle isn't super damaged, so it should be able to reinforce the main character's force and keep this base alive. I guess the big question here is going to be, can Durandal abuse this high ground and poke down enough to be able to weaken this Dragoon core and snipe out these Reavers? Now, High Templar with Storm are on the way. That's going to be a huge amount of damage because if the Dragoons make a little bit of space, the Templar kind of sneak in down here and storm on these probes, maybe get a storm on this big Dragoon core. And here comes our second Reaver drop coming into the main. This one should be pretty big. It leans over, and the Scarab, oh my god, that was at least 7 probes knocked out. Reaver's going to get a couple more. This is going to be Durandal. It looks like the attack in did not go as well as we wanted it to. And it looks like this Reaver is going to really put a ton of pressure on Durandal here. Tachometer with the 10 bits. Thanks for the comment. You're welcome. I don't know what comment I'm getting thanked for, but hell yeah, keep it up. You're doing great. Speed Zealot, leg enhancements. Is this the must-see series? This is the must-see series. My source for that is character sent it to me. It was delivered fresh off the presses by character. And we are seeing a bit of a passive lull in the game at this point, as both players are just kind of, you know, waiting back, looking for a moment, just trying to poke around, see what's going on, get their macros start like higher up. Now we are going to see another attempt at a Reaver drop, but unfortunately Durandal developed a couple more cannons. They have Dragoons sitting back. Oh, that's not... Ooh, oh my god. So this Reaver is absolutely dead, but it is going to be able to get in here and get a free shot on the... Oh my god. Reavers are the dumbest unit, but it is going to... No! No. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh god, somebody clip that and put that in the fucking CPL help clips. I need some clips for that. Big storms on the Dragoons though. My god, those are some really good storms. Now imagine if those were Hydralisks. Durandal in a absolutely ridiculous position at this point. 12 probes behind. Fucking, however, oh my god, I was so careful about putting Reavers in that shuttle. It looks like one of character's Reavers did get picked out, and characters finally getting High Templar of their own so that they'll have a bit more maneuverable of an army. Durandal getting a secret third base up there, completely throwing off any of character's math going into this fight, as our players are kind of resettling it back out. It doesn't look like either wants to really engage, and it doesn't look like either really can engage at this point. If a character tries pushing up here, we have High Templar ready to be able to storm at this choke point. If Durandal tries pushing down, they're going to be fighting into cannons and a Reaver. So really Durandal taking the most advantage of their position and getting this third base up. Now there is always the possibility of like 5 Zealots just running out on the map and checking for these bases. But, okay, it looks like character is going to be trying another push up. The Reavers are kind of janking up on the Zealots, so they wasted quite a few Scarab shots. And character is looking like they picked the wrong attack. You know? They've tried to push up the ramp. Storm's coming down on the Reavers, and this should lead to a bust. One Reaver does get picked up by the shuttle and maneuvered back. Unfortunately, characters, they have their High Templar out, but the Storm isn't developed in time. And it looks like, really, Durandal is going to solidify this that probe. Salute. 07's in the chat for that probe. They did their best. BR7 saying Storm greater than Reaver, in my opinion. I think I generally would agree with that. I think Reavers are... eating a huge Storm. Now, we do have a couple of High Templar here. Storm is finally done. I think Reavers are okay. Storm is probably generally better, but if you get good at managing Reavers, I think there's nothing that can top that. Like, a well-controlled Reaver is insane. Storm has a lot more like counterplay in the moment, right? Like being able to micro it out. But as your micro gets better, Reavers get better. Now, actually, we're going to be seeing something really funny, is if this shuttle is taking this long arc to try and attack down here, it is actually going to scout the 12 o'clock, which is going to be... Oh, this is actually a Storm drop. Just threatening the probes, making them move out. Now, the funny thing is, oh, the jukes. Watch, the probes could fight the High Templar there. But it does look like they'll just juke the Storm and get back to mining. Character taking their third base on the 9 o'clock position. And yeah, they're going to be moving those Zealots out. Like I said, you know, holding this area is great. But when this little gap... you know what? I think Ascension's a cool map, because just the ability to be able to sneak out the back this way and come up and kill this base is a really fun little... it's a fun little side tangent of a game, you know? You can just come up there. And we do have a couple of Archons here to be able to mostly fight off Zealots, and I guess tank one of the Zealots are coming up, so we'll be able to take out this match pretty quickly. And Durandal is probably going to have to expand here. Here comes the thing. Now, they are going to be dodging on that Reaver. Big Storm comes down, takes the Reaver out. Second Storm comes down, and once a lot of the Zealots, that Archon, as dangerously low as they got. Oh my god, they're just trading Storms. They're fucking having wizard fights. It's actually... Dang. Archons take a lot of damage to Storm. Now, Archons can do a moving shot, but you got a micro for that. And meanwhile, it just looks like the High Templar are doing a really good job of just dodging Zealots. The Zealots are getting in the way of the Archon from being able to kill the High Templar. And it is just, oh, and these are all gonna die. Wow, that was interesting. Now, if these Zealots do exist, they come around, they can probably kill these things very easily. And character getting their fourth base up at the bottom. Very impressive there. Durandal floating a ton of resources at this point. We have an upgrades check. It looks like Durandal is sitting at +2, character at +2, +1, so in a much better position. Durandal is actually expanding forward and taking this base that is closer to their attack point. Honestly, I think this fourth base might have been a little greedy from character. I probably would have wanted to expand up here, but I guess if he's trying to change his hold from here to this high ground, this base makes a lot more sense. Durandal sitting on, looks like only 6 gateways. Character's only on 5, but character is getting a lot of extra. Nope, they have 6 as well. Character's getting, you know, extra bases. They have a bit of a lead in the expansions. Tech Ajepu redeemed play / cast a game and original graphics. Alright, I am beholden to my chat. I'm beholden to these rewards. Tech. Oh, he wants to do car. I don't own. Okay, I don't own the Carbot skins, but you know what? We'll do our next game, and I'll spend the money. How much is Carbot? It's like $10. That's fine. It's like $7. Oh gosh, it's like $7 I have to spend. You know what? I'm gonna. Is there a refund channel points? I will do an IOU on this one on playing or casting a Carbot skin. Anyways, back to the game. We have a setup here on the high ramp. I'm not saying I'll help you out. No, it's cool. I'll get it. I'll just we'll do it in between casts. My next cast, I'll have one in Carbot skin. That's a lot of zealots. Interesting. So zealots are really good versus dragoons, especially once they have speed and upgrades. I'm just trying to micro them to get on top of it. Oh, that's a big storm. The big issue with zealots, with Zealot High Templar, is that storm is really good, and that dragoons will kill Archons really easily. I was looking at character is going to be able to just really sweep over the third base and take it out. But Durandal is reinforcing their army here. One huge storm, and I mean honestly, as these Archons are falling, storm will clear up a lot of the zealots here, and characters army supplies being dropped, and start evening out with Durandal. Now Durandal is taking a 4th and a 5th base at the same time, so we're seeing like these players. Your voice is a bit too quiet and the sounds are too high. Alright, I'll lower the desktop audio in a little bit. I mean, honestly, it is looking really good for Durandal right now. Upgrades notwithstanding, as character is sitting on 3-2 at the moment compared to... Nope, only 2-2 compared to Durandal's 3-0. But honestly, attack is probably better than armor. I don't know if I'd rather have 3-0 or 2-2. We just have a shuttle here. It has a High Templar. But it looks like if Durandal knows about this 4th base, it is completely exposed and they'll be able to come up here and kill it. So this is kind of the issue that I think I had with taking this base and then this base, is that this base is so far away from where you want to be defending, which is right around here. Whereas like if you had taken this base instead, it's much easier to come down and defend that, as opposed to having to come down and then come up and defend that base. Now we do have an observer going around the map to go exploring, and it should be able to catch that Durandal has a 4th up on 5 bases basically. Character getting plasma shields because that's what they need right now. It is for, I mean, it does help their Archons out. Armor doesn't really help Archon upgrades. And yeah, we see another little Zealot hit squad coming up. Unfortunately, we have enough photon cannons here that it really should be impossible for the Zealots to come up and fight it. They should probably be able to come down and kill this set of cannons. Yeah, Zealots will tear through cannons on higher up. Looks like 1 is going to get stuck in the mineral line, 2 is going to get stuck in the mineral line. Very unfortunate attack path there. Now Durandal is going to be trying to move up this ramp. Big storms on the Archons, really just laying the damage out. Huge storm on the Zealot also. That is a really good little move there. Unfortunately, that attack mostly accomplished absolutely nothing. The Zealots do kill an assimilator, and that attack also accomplished absolutely nothing. But character is coming up and getting their 5th base. It looks like the attack force that Durandal had here kind of moved around the map, and it looks like character is being trying to come in and take an attack on this here. 2 storms coming down, really killing dragoons. You know, dragoons are a pretty good unit. Storms are an even better unit. And unfortunately, sometimes when you have enough dragoons, it doesn't really matter. And And I mean, these Archons are extremely used for the 2 Dragoons. And I think this is kind of why you see Reavers a lot more, is that Storms are great. The problem is if you're having a prolonged, extended game where like your High Templar are going to be low on energy a lot, the consistency of the Reavers building Scarabs is a lot better than the Storms of the High Templar in terms of how much damage like over a long period of time. And the High Templar, can I volume up my voice? I'm trying. Okay. We're going to have a little lower our little desktop audio there. We'll open up our settings and raise our microphone volume just a little bit. And so hopefully that is not too much. And we'll get back into our game. So hopefully that sounds a little bit better. But again, like when High Templar run out of energy, you just kind of have to like build Archons. And Archons are, oh my god, what the audacity of a High Templar to just little drop in the main and storm the 3rd. That's sick. Someone clip that too. I wanna see that CPL clips channel popping off with this shit. More. Oh my god, there's just more. Oh. I'm like, oh, that's so sick. I look at the probe count, 74. Durandal, why? That is a lot of probes. Jesus Christ. But he is going to be building a photon cannon there just to prevent that from happening again. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is just looking really good for Durandal. They have the supply lead. They're about to have the base lead. They have an insane mineral advantage. They have 20 extra workers over their opponent. They've been getting really good value out of the storms that they have been using. And again, like, they haven't been making as many Archons. Oh god, not the High Templar. These storms are too much. If I had a weaker heart, I would not be able to cast this game. But, yeah, I mean, this looks like it should be a break. There's really not a ton of army here for character. Their bases are drying up a little bit. I don't even know where this... They must have either transferred too many probes or there was a drop here that I didn't see. But yeah, so the issue with Archons is, like, look, like, Archons will get shredded by Dragoons. And so, like... I don't know. I think Reavers are good. But the Zealots will come up, tank shots, and kind of drive the Dragoons back, because if the Archons do get on top of them, then that's bad for them. Really, I mean, this is just the case of Durandal getting so many extra bases. It looks like they're going to be able to have... I mean, it's kind of like 1 extra base, really, in terms of base count, but, I mean, in terms of worker count, having 23 extra workers over your opponent is kind of insane. And Durandal is going to maneuver around the map. I mean, we have this pack of, like, distraction Dragoons buying time for this entire army to get over here. And again, like, the only thing defending the space is 1 photon cannon. So if they come up, this can die a lot faster than this can come and reinforce. So Durandal is getting into a really nice position, and they're up at their 200-200. They could be working on their upgrades, but they're not. Whereas character is like, you know, 3-2-1. They're getting plasma shields. So, I mean, upgrades are really good, but upgrades are not going to beat a 60 supply lead. You know, big storm, especially because storm ignores armor. So the armor upgrades are just even a little bit less important at that point. This is probably going to be very close to a killing blow. There's so many storms packed in this army. However, the Archons are going to get on top of the High Templar. A storm does come down. Shuttle comes in to drop extra guys. And so, no, this actually should be held by characters. The Zealots are going to get over onto the probes, but they should get cleared up pretty easily as well. Luckily, there were only 3 probes mining minerals. But here comes the second wave. Durandal has the gateways, They have the units, and at this point, they're getting into the territory where they can just A-move across the map. And it looks like that is Durandal's assessment as well, and they are going to start A-moving across the map. This should be the killing blow. When this base falls, character will start just way too... Honestly, if this base falls, the natural falls pretty easily as well. Takano with the 33-bit spam. Hype. Hell yeah. Let's go. See the hype for this fucking match. Really cool play. Good PvP shit that we love to see. Archon dropping down another big storm on the Dragoons. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I can see why character sent me this match. This is has been a really good play in both of these games. And this game especially was really cool to see. Both players, it was really back and forth. Both players really played amazingly. But you know, Durandal just over time, it really was like Durandal just got more storms and they didn't make as many Archons, you know, like there's like a storm of oh god. The probe pilgrimage interrupted by terrible weather. Yeah, no, this should be a win for Durandal, tying the series up, which is actually kind of crazy to me, because if you rewind this game 20 minutes, you would think character was going to just run away with it again. That was actually pretty crazy, but I mean, taking extra bases is pretty good, and if you're floating minerals because you're at max supply, that's also pretty good. Looks like character is going to be trying to just fight it off as long as possible, but with the natural falling and the main soon behind it, I don't really think there's going to be a for our yellow players. BR7 asking who won the first game. Our first game was won by character. So that is going to tie us up. Let's take a look at our scorecard here real quick. As we see, both players building a ton and both players losing a ton. So in terms of units, Durandal had about 50 extra units over the course of the game. A lot of that was probes. Structures, though, I mean, you can see kind of the infrastructure difference here, right? Durandal built 15 extra buildings. A lot of those were photon cannons, but, you know, yeah. I mean, the minerals mined is really what tells the story here. Nearly 10,000 more minerals. 10,000 more minerals buys a lot of zealots. Yeah, so that tells a lot of the story. All right, we'll get our third game here set up. In fact, actually, I'm going to take a very quick short rest to fill up my coffee. And when we get back, we are going to have our ultimate tiebreaker third match game, 100 zealots. Think about the sound. I think the sound is fine. So yeah, I'd adjust it a little bit. I don't, what's wrong with the, oh wait, yeah, I'll turn the desktop audio down a little bit, just a little bit, so that the next time we have 5 million storms going off, it won't deafen everybody. All right, now, again, we'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some extra coffee. And with that, we're going to be into our third match. In fact, actually, I think I have a break screen. I do. Oh my God, this is so out of date. Back at, let's say it is 10 right now. Back at 10. EST. Alright, we'll be back very shortly. That time will go by like nothing. Probably be earlier than that. You know, let's say 10:05. That's like a solid. So I want to get into this third game. This has been a 6 series. All right, we're gonna be back a little bit early because I want to get into these games. Welcome back. If from the break, if you're just joining us, we are going into Game 3 of Character versus Durandal and the Protoss versus Protoss of the Week 1 of the CPL 9 of the team Southeast Asian Laggers versus Crimea River. So that's if you joined us during the break. If you are watching this, you don't know what CPL is, go to cplbrewer.com. It's really cplbw.com. It's very cool. Very, very, very cool. Thank you, CPL. Yeah, we're going to hop into our Game 3. This game is going to be on Eclipse 1.2. The single greatest map ever made, in my opinion. But, of course, I'm biased because I'm a Protoss player. So let's just hop right into it and see the climactic finale of this intense mirror matchup. In Talking Meter 71 bits before the next game, so your awesome commentary during the game. Interrupt it as much as you like, because I think that's cool. Do whatever you want. I like people sending bits. I don't know what bits are, but it's cool that I have them, that you've sent them. So thanks. In our top right corner, as our blue Protoss, we have Durandal. Playing as Protoss, is in their selected color is blue, playing for Crimea Reaver. About to bring the game home for their team. In the bottom left corner, as the yellow Protoss, once again, we have Character playing as Protoss, playing all mirror matchups probably for their team, SEAL Team 6, the Southeast Asian Laggers. Both players building a pylon, not in their main. Durandal getting their pylon up in their natural in a bit of a strange position, but that is such an immediate scout. We should be seeing a gateway coming down. So a forward gate is always really good, and we are going to see Durandal coming up in here for the scout, messing up that probe a little bit. The question is, are we going to... No, it's a forge! Durandal! Oh. Listen, Character, my fellow co-caster, friend of the cast, guy who comes in and helps us cast really good games. I like them a lot, but if Durandal builds a pylon in the main here, I'm rooting for them. I hope they win this match. Unfortunately, it does look like Character's probes are set to kill. They're in Terminator mode, and it looks like this Durandal probe is not going to be able to get that photon cannon wall up. You know, going pylon, and building the photon cannon right back there. So coming here with another 15 bits, supporting Crimea Reaver. Crimea Reaver, go, go, go. Hoping that it is their team. You see, the Forge is bad. The single greatest building in StarCraft Brood War, because it lets you build photon cannons, is bad. Get out of here. Get out of this chat. We do have a sort of a Forge fast expand for Durandal, and I don't know if I like this. So Forge expand in PvP is not good. It's interesting, I guess. So talking to your... You don't even need a Reaver. You just need Dragoons, because Hydras, they counter cannons. Zerglings counter cannons. You just get Dragoons, and you can kill the cannons really quickly. So I think you could theoretically maybe do like a... if you do Forge fast expand fast DTs, I think that helps a lot, because... your opponent then has to wait for observer tech to get researched before they can attempt to bust you. And in that time period, you can kind of get your own army set up and get your own Dragoons and Zealots. And also DTs are just really good in this matchup, since you can just snipe observers. And Yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, you know, I think if you're going to do the Forge Fast Expand in PvP, you should just do the PvZ build and like the PvZ wall. So I'm not gonna criticize this too much, but I do really think like if you're going like again like this should have probably been pylon there, forge there, gateway there, and cannons behind. If we were going to do this, it should have just been like you do it in PvZ. It's a little bit weirder because Dragoon range is a lot better than Hydra range. So you would lose your frontline buildings a lot faster. But, I mean, I think just in general, the safety that a proper wall provides would be worth more. Now we do have the, oh, and Durandal is going for Dark Templar. So, you know, I called it. God dang it. See, I can't root for character anymore because Durandal, it's like I see a Forge Fast Expand into like Citadel for DTs and I go, my people, this is my games. Durandal is my self-insert character for this cast, okay? It's too good. We do have Zealots out here. Another thing you can do is, yeah, but if you do really up obs reasonably fast, that's true. Another thing you can do is forego gas, like maybe take a couple people off gas, and then just do speed zealots and get like maybe 3 gateway zealots and have them like rely on them to brunt the majority of the dragoons. And we do have speed coming out for Durandal, and I'm not just saying that because. Oh, no, Durandal's canceling speed and getting High Templar. So Speed Zealots they have a really interesting interaction with Dragoons, which is that interaction is that the Speed Zealots fucking massacre Dragoons. So if you were maybe to just go, oh, Forge Fast Expand, not get a lot of gas, and focus on just pumping Speed Zealots out, you get a little hard countered by Reavers, which you're getting hard countered by anyways because you're fucking going Forge Fast Expand. But you are more safe from a basic Dragoon bust, which is what's coming up, right? So Reavers take a long time to get active. You have to get the shuttle. You have to get the Reaver. You have to, like, you probably are still getting observers out, so we don't even have, the first observer is still not out. Well, no, the first observer is out, it's just not with the army, because they have to get observers in case you just, oh, I'll just get DTs. So there's layers to this that this build can be okay with, but the problem is, you know, sometimes you just take a third and you get away with it. That's not a problem. This is a solution for Durandal. It's like, oh, you're going to try to pressure my fucking second base with fucking 2 photon cannons and 4 zealots? Hold my... Yeah. This. Text saying he had a step dot up for a moment. Yeah, Durandal getting Storm, High Templar out, so we really are purely in, you know, PvZ territory. Talk is saying it's GG already. I don't know. If you go back to Ascension at 10 minutes and said, oh, hey, what's going on in Ascension at 10 minutes? Oh, character is able to put pressure on the bases. They sniped a ton of probes. They're ahead like 40 supply. Just saying, Durandal is a minute 25 PvP player. If it looks bad now, I mean, also 11 probe lead, that's pretty huge. We already have the High Templar out. So even though we do have a speed shuttle on the way to be able to like maybe do drops, we have cannons set up in, you know, second, third. We have this. Oh, that's a really cool line of cannons. I didn't know you could fit 4 cannons there. Well, I've learned that today. That's really cool. Character just checking for any hidden bases or taking a hidden base of their own. Taka's saying, I mean, blue is winning hard. Ah, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. We have one Reaver and a Dream. And that Dream is to fuck Durandal up. Alright, here comes the push out. We do have a pretty large Dragoon force. Durandal adding on the extra bases. Character taking the top left. That's pretty significant. And here comes the Reaver drop. It's going to slide right by here. It might stop to pick up. I feel like, you know, characters going to see this, and they have to be thinking, ah, fuck, how long has this been here? Snipes that should be a kill on the cannon, honestly. So snipes that, and is mostly just going to just sit here and relax. Now, the cool thing is, the only thing that really can really get up there are the Zealots and High Templar, and Reavers massacre Zealots. So, oh, it looks like they are just waiting for the High Templar to come up and storm. Just kill the pylon, please. Oh, okay, good. Alright. Lift up and run away. The Zealots... Actually, no, is this a full wall? That's crazy. Interesting. And here come the High Templar, just in time to miss everything. Third base up for character in the top left. Durandal does... This is just a game of hidden bases. Oh, God. Duel. And is the Reaver going to live? The Reaver should live one storm. That's crazy. Picking off 2 High Templar for free is pretty sick. Character still holding that 10 supply lead. But, I mean, their positioning on this game is really nice. This line of Dragoons here, just picking off stray units. And the, oh my God. Alright, that shuttle should retreat now. But it's going to get one more High Templar. Okay. Oh my God. And that shuttle should live. Now, they do have to be really careful, because if they moved over here and the Dragoon chased it, that would have been game. We're going to see a ring of photon cannons set up. Durandal floating a lot of resources right now. Again, like, character's main thing. Character plays really cleanly. It just seems like, you know, like last game, they just kind of got really out-macroed by Durandal having 50 million bases. But again, like, Durandal floating a ton of resources, floating 2,000 resources. Now, a lot of those resources are probably from this free third base that they got really early. They're getting that fourth base. Looks like they're getting that fourth base as well. And they're coming around for the backstab on character's main here. Oh no, if these units rally across the ramp, that would be a really big deal. But it looks like it's not. And here comes another drop. Now this should get cleaned up with the photon cannons set up. It's a lot of photon cannons, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. The Dragoon, looks like the Dragoon and the Reaver are going to try to, you know, get a couple of picks on the High Templar here, there. Or just get, you know, honestly, just using the Reaver for harassment. Big storms come down, the Dragoons are going to have to force them back. Okay, micro there. Photon cannon is set up so that this wounded shuttle should not be able to... There goes a probe. Should not be able to harass the third base very much. And Durandal, with the 20 supply lead at this point, looks like about 10 of it is in... Oh, God. That's not good. Alright, character getting in Archons at this point, which I'm not really digging the Archons. I think going Archons instead of, you know, using out the Storms are kind of what led to that game 2 loss. But, I mean, if they get on top of they do have an insane DPS if they actually get on top of the army here. It's just that, like, well, actually, you know what? Fuck, maybe, never mind. Maybe Archons were the way. Oh my gosh. 1 HP. Dude, this Archon has seen some shit. Dude, Wounded Archons kind of look sick. Alright, and they're going to get a kill on this 4th base, and I don't think there's much Durandal can do about that. If the Zealots try to run up and reinforce, the Archons will be able to kill them. Well, actually, no, these Archons are very low HP. Storms on the Dragoons, so it needs 2 Storms to kill a patch of Dragoons. No micro from our yellow Protoss to dodge the Storms, so that is going to be a complete clear of this attack, and that 4th base is going to stay up. Their character is going to try to take their 4th at their 4th and not at their 3rd. But their army supply has been whittled down a lot. They really just have a bunch of Zealots and a few Archons. Let's take a check at the upgrades. We have +1 and +1/+1. We have a Forge that could be building a +2 armor, which it is not. But Durandal, again, we're kind of seeing what we saw in Ascension, where both players are just playing really careful, just playing back, macroing up, getting their bases. But it is really looking like Durandal is far and away in the lead right now, as they're kind of just limited by the fact their supply blocked at 148. They're floating nearly 5,000 resources. I mean, yeah, this is really just... Oh, and this base should fall as soon as this probe runs over here and gets killed by photon cannons. There really just isn't much. Now, so one of the things I'd like to see more in these lower levels is mixing in DTs. So, like, for example, we take a look at this game, right? Like, where are the observers at? We have one with the army here, and that's kind of it. Durandal doesn't really have any observers out on the map. They are going to deny this top left, but Durandal doesn't really have that many observers out on the map. So if you're using DTs, oh, and this base down here is going to get canceled as well. Character really is getting kind of just outmaneuvered in this game. Durandal has been playing really greedy and getting these just really fast expansions and transforming that into... Oh god, they're slow Zealots. They're slow Zealots. What is happening? Yeah, character, unfortunately, I think just, I'm not sure where character's money is going. We see a lot of gateways here, but we're only producing 5 units because our income is just so low. The main base has already is basically mined out for both of our players. Character has a bunch of idle probes just sitting around. And honestly, you know what? It's pretty easy to then be able to say, oh, where did this game go wrong for character? The game going wrong because Durandal has 30 more probes than their opponent. That's a lot of probes. I think, you know, if you're watching this, the main takeaway is, hey, build probes. As it turns out, having 20 extra workers over your opponent gives you 10,000 more minerals and economy. Also, the storms have been absolutely sick from Durandal. Character really hasn't been microing out of the storm range, and it has unfortunately been leading to a lot of really sloppy engagements. Now we do have a couple of High Templar here. Blue Storm on the Archon, taking it out. Looks like we are going to see a snipe on some of these High Templar though, but there are enough blue guys here that, oh my god, double Storm to kill that guy, just to really make sure he understands that the blue wizards are better than the yellow wizards. So still a 30 supply lead for Durandal. 1 base lead, although this one isn't really mining yet. And we might... So that 30 supply lead is a little bit misleading, because 25 of those supply are in probes. So if we actually see like a full army v army fight, it's a bit more even than this supply would make you think, but it's only by a bit. Because you just look at the, you know, the bank, and it's like, okay, if they have an even fight, Durandal just instantly remaxes, and character is going to be struggling. Like, character has to take a bunch of really good fights at this point, or they are going to, I mean, just get overrun again. And it really does look like they're just going to get overrun again. At this point, Durandal could just be set up like 5 zealots in each of their gateways and then just start moving across the map to this point right here, and they'd probably win. I really don't see... I don't see a way for character out of this outside of Durandal just not pushing their advantage at this point. And it is really hard to know when you have an advantage in this game, so I'm not going to say Durandal like should know that they can win from here. Although they kind of should. They've denied 2 bases. They've denied 3 bases almost so far. They've had good fight after good fight after good fight. But again, like that can be really hard to judge. So we're on +1 attack versus +3, +2. Another thing is characters been on their upgrades a lot more. Now they could be getting their +3 armor there, but they aren't, but it's fine. And so it could be that character they still have slow zealots. They still have slow zealots with the citadels right there, character. Research your leg enhancements. But yeah, so your opponent being above on upgrades is actually pretty insane. How much better protoss get with upgrades. It's not as crazy as you know, Terran upgrades, but they're pretty crazy. Like Dragoons deal like 6 extra damage, Archons deal 9 extra damage, Zealots deal, I don't know, a lot, 22, 6 extra damage as well. Damn, that's a lot of extra damage. But see, now we're getting to the point where Durandal's maxed out. And with Durandal being maxed out, again, I just think they should just start moving now. It looks like characters brought the majority of their army around the map. Ooh, that storm is a bit funky. That one was really good, though. That one's also super good. But the thing is, character is going to be able to kill this 4th base. And this is Durandal's moment to attack. They're going to move in, snipe that High Templar. Really nice that this High Templar has a lot of storms left. But it looks like characters really going to be focused more on killing this base than defending their own. Ooh, we have so many storms to show you. Unfortunately. See, and but again, here's the thing. 1 Dark Templar prevents all of this. Like, because Durandal doesn't have any observers. Now, we are seeing a Nexus expand to the bottom there. And character's army is all the way on the other side of the map. You see a lot of probes just kind of moving out to go mine from that base, and they are going to die. But, yeah, like, we can kind of set up a defense on the ramp here. I think, honestly, that might be character's play, is to set up the defense on the ramp and then just try to bust the natural here and hold off on the reinforcements. Killing this 4th base was huge. But, again, I'm not sure what the... yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think setting up on the ramp is actually the way to go. It's going to be really hard for Durandal to bust this. They do have 2 fully charged High Templar, though, but it looks like they're going to be more concerned about trying to defend their natural here. But their natural is going to fall very quickly. That is a very powerful little army, and they're going to also be catching these units as they're rallying out. And Archons... oh shit, Archons do a lot of damage. Okay, now this rally of Dragoons should be enough to defend, though. Since Dragoons do full damage to Archons and Dragoons. Looks like we're going to see the move out. High Templar comes up, does get sniped, and it looks like the Dragoons are going to get picked off as well. Durandal floating 5k resources. So the Zealots are going to get on top of the Archon here, and that should take it out. Character does not have enough money to reinforce. They're building a ton of Zealots, though, and that Zealot reinforcement wave, if it takes the fight, it should be able to hold this. Okay, kind of a bit of a storm on their own units. That, I think, was a storm from character there. And the Zealots are going to make sure that that Archon dies before it can morph in and take the game. And now the Zealots are going to fight the Zealots. And again, the upgrade disparity here is going to be what's important, is that it's 2-1-1 versus a 3-2. One Zealot was aggroed on a gateway. Now again, but here's the thing, right? Durandal, they lost their base there. They had to take an emergency base down here. Their ramp is getting busted. So, like, both players are getting busted. And the difference is, like, you know, Durandal, they've been floating resources before they were at 200. So we're seeing really that macro that really punishing them. They're only building 2 zealots. Character, who has a bit much tighter macro, is producing slightly more units, and they're going to be able to get on top and maybe defend this main. But it looks more like they're just going to maybe evacuate it. But again, character is now getting on top of the gateways in the same position here, although like this army is going to kill a base. This army is kind of annoying, and that's like the difference there. Now we do finally have a round of 11 zealots coming out. The big question is we have 2 archons, and one of these are full health almost. So I don't know if 11 zealots, they'll be able to kill the dragoons, but if character is careful, they're characterful, the Archon will be able to help clean this out. Now the Zealots are going to finally come back up here and fight. It looks like they are going to get killed. 5 DTs coming out of Durandal, again, like I said. Now, that's the funny thing is, character does actually have an observer with their army. If one of these, like, things was a DT here, character would easily be ahead in the game and easily be winning. But they're just building some Zealots, some Dragoons. They do have a High Templar with Storm, and one good Storm is going to kill all those probes. The Dragoon does come out, and the Zealots are going to come out and start putting pressure on these units as well. Still no speed on the Zealots, unfortunately, which is not good. And that High Templar is going to live. But I mean, yeah, the base of Durandal is getting cleared out. It looks like their DTs came out and they were taken out. I mean, yeah, the Observer is still with the army. This is looking like if character just plays it right, we just need 1 round of Dark Templar, and they save their main and they keep all their infrastructure. Durandal, though, has 6,000 minerals to work with, which is a lot. They could theoretically rebuild if they can get the space for it. I mean, shit, they could just build their gateways out down here, right? Like, maybe. I think it's just, it's actually kind of crazy, right? How much... God. Okay, so 4 Zealots coming out for character and 2 High Templar. This should clear this, and so character should maintain their main. They've gotten an extra base out. We have 5 Zealots here to be able to kill the Dragoon that's come to harass. You could really tell that our player's attention is getting taxed to hell. Now here comes another layer of Zealots. This 100% should clear out this attack. And now we should really be in a position where character just mops up the game. Now Durandal has 6,000 minerals, but what are they going to spend it on, right? They have to rebuild their entire tech tree. It looks like they're just going to be amassing photon cannons in the bottom right, which is fine, but it's not going to like win the game for them, right? Yeah, I mean, character just, they, clean out their main. They have the infrastructure. They get their upgrades, and they just wait. I mean, fuck, you just max out, and you just sit out here. You clear this base, you come clear this base, you clear this base, you have the supply lead, and then you just come down here, and you keep Durandal off of moving out from these expansions. Because there's no way they can rebuild an army from these expansions. Because even though, like, you just wait. You just come out here, you go here, and you win. I'm not saying this is a prediction, but I am saying that I mean that should be how you win. I mean the probe is gonna come over here, see all this, and the Zealots should just run over immediately and kill everything. The Zealots 100% can clear the space on their own. Zealots tear through cannons if they can get on top of them. Now we're missing speed Zealots, which is unfortunate, but you're good. This should be a win for character. They're wiping out all the infrastructure here. Durandal's going to have to completely rebuild with minimal space on the map. If this base actually gets up, that would be huge for Durandal. Like, character has to stop this, and they have the army to stop it. They just need to go and actually stop it. Wow. There's 4 cannons defending this, right? Characters floating 2,000 resources. I'm gonna Alright, so here comes the big thing. The Archon in the back of the base providing moral support instead of fighting Zealots. I'm just... Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I'm really worried now about how this game is going to go. Character can re-expand to their natural. They're floating the minerals. They have a 30 supply lead. Character, I need you to... Okay, that's a pretty good storm on the Blue Zealots. Stargate. We're getting Stargates. It's cool. Character just... Oh boy. All that army there. Lost to time. Like tears in the rain. Oh my gosh, is Durandal actually going to rebuild? Because they can get the Dragoons out of this base. They're on a 3-base economy. Character's also on a 3-base economy, although they can get a little extra boost from there. Like, it really should just be coming down to the space of the bases, where character has so much room for all the infrastructure that they need. Like, Durandal can't build High Templar right now, right? So, did you see the core spinning? Durandal didn't get attack range. No, no, God. Oh my God. This is a fucking fever dream. This is a fucking nightmare. He didn't get Dragoon attack range. No, no, no. Where's Character's army? He's getting scouts. I'm done, dude. I'm done. This is stupid. This is silly. What? No. No, the scouts, the Stargates are depowered. Oh my God. Oh my God. Deadweight is saying he's new. You know what? He's new. And you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. This has happened to me before. That's why this is a problem for me, okay? But this should get cleared up. Again, character has the upgrades. They have the Zealot amass. There's still no fleet beacon. I think he's just going to get scouts. Just the thing is, absolutely bonkers game, from character. Character, you're winning. Character, what are you doing? This is wild. Okay, we are getting Wait, he does have the fleet beacon, and he's choosing to get scouts. This is a choice. Templar Archives getting set up in the bottom right. So the Archon is coming out, and so all these Zealots should get cleared up. We're still just making scouts, no carriers at all. Zealots are going to hammer down the fleet beacon. They are actually going to get it. The Archon is going to let it happen. He says we're allowed to have this one thing. Character is mining out. But they do have this whole base for an economy left. But with the Zealots and the Archons, they should be able to break this third base and take it. No, no. They should be able to break this third base and take it. I mean, the upgrades are still favoring character by a wide margin, and there's enough Zealots here that they can just kill the photon cannons, unless the army gets split up and fought half and half. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's no, God damn it. We are finally getting Zealot speed, so we should be able to break this. This is it. We're in week 1 of CPL and I've already been broken. I already. Okay. Great storm there, guys. Fuck. Oh my god, dude. Just get zealots. Oh my god, the supply lead is actually insane. What is... Just... Come around. Attack from here. Don't fight up this ramp. Oh my god, he's getting scout sight range. Storm on the Dragoons. We're waiting for the... Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh jeez. I can't even cast this game anymore. This is just, I'm not trying to cast this game. I'm trying to survive this game at this point. What's in the shuttle? What's in the shuttle? Come on. What's in the shuttle? Oh. Where's Character's army? Whoa. Whoa. I'm so confused. Where's Character's probes? What's going on? Dude, I can't. This is insane. This is... We're gonna get carriers out, right? But, like... This base is gonna get cleared. Oh, God. Damn it. Honestly, oh my god, and this... So, Durandal's about to be mined out. Right? And Characters are going to have one solid base. Fight with your whole army. Please. You have an armed Dragoons. Fight with them. Move them up. Where are the carriers? Wait, those Stargates aren't the one. Where are the carriers being built at? What the fuck? Alright, we have carriers. And we're building 6 High Templar. Cool. We probes. No. Why? Holy shit. Just have an army. Fuzzy Branch is calling it that Navy Blue wins. Shit, dude, they might. This is fucking... Just, I can't, I'm just trying to survive this game. I can't even, I don't know what's going on. Please. Durandal has 20 supply of army. Just move around. Attack up this ramp. There's a whole fucking 2 extra ramps. You don't have to use this one. You have this base. This base has 2 carriers, please. Use the whole army. Oh my god. See, because the thing is, like, Durandal has 8,000 minerals, which is a lot, but there's probably about, like, 5,000 minerals in these patches alone, right? Like, you just have to not... Every time you ask why, the answer is because they're new. Character is not new. Character has been playing... Okay, you know, character mains Terran, so it's fine, but, like... Map awareness. Character isn't new. I don't have to ask about Durandal. If Durandal's new, I appreciate that. They're good at the game, okay? Character played last season. Oh my god. This is insane. This is actually crazy. I'm not even sure, like, okay, so if they keep trying to push up the ramp, I guess it's just that, like, if they literally just do anything else, the game is so easily won. But because we are doing this, I don't know. Durandal might win. Like, Durandal's going to mine out their 3 bases. They're going to have a lot of minerals to work with. Storm on that is really good. And I mean, like, they're fighting Archons. We have Dragoons here. We have Carriers. Carriers are really good. Oh my god, he targeted one down. The Carrier only has 4 enters because Capacity never finished. Why did Capacity never finish? Why? Oh my god, we have 2 Cybernetics cores building our fucking carrier upgrades. Because the fleet beacon was sniped, but the fleet beacon... 1 bit for the epic game. Dude, this is crazy. And the Zealots, oh my god, because he has the bases down there, he can just come up and wipe this out. And Character's been wasting so much army trying to hold this base and taking terrible fights that now Durandal can come in for the backstab. He has the supply lead now. The fleet beacon is gone again. I guess Durandal finally remembered he could make Zealots from easy 8 ways. I've never played that long on a clip. This is crazy. So actually now, this whole base is going to die. The Character doesn't have anything to defend it with. So he's going to lose all this infrastructure. And he's going to be in the same situation as Durandal is. No! Okay, Durandal is officially mined out of resources. He only has 4K to work with. And Character has quite a bit more, honestly. And I mean, with Carriers, you just have to poke out. You just have to kind of poke out, like, and you can win the game there, right? I guess the issue is... I guess the issue is that, Oh, I'm on fastest X2. The issue is, I don't think Character could ever try and take a straight-on fight with the Actually, you know what? Fuck it. If he used all the minerals here to just build Carriers, he probably could still win. How much? Carriers are what? 350 for minerals? You just mine depleted gas long enough? 350 for minerals, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish more Carriers. So you can get a whole control group of Carriers out, which is pretty good. Then you just kind of lean out and, you know, I mean, that's a lot of weakened Dragoons. And just kind of poke at your opponent for long enough. I mean, then I guess you do have to still build interceptors, though. And there's no more minerals on the map. That's pretty crazy. Okay. With all these Zealots, they're going to come up here and they probably will be able to kill this. Durandal at 3K minerals in the bank. They probably just need to be building Dragoons at this point so that they can, like, maybe move up and around and come and kill this base and fully surround Character. Another storm coming down on the Dragoons. Gonna get picked up and leaves. Now, again, also, storm in play is infinite, like, resources, right? You got to keep that in mind, is that storm is infinite free damage if you can, like, edge out the hits, right? So, yeah, Character picking the Carriers off, or picking the High Templar off, is insanely important here, but they are going to be limited by their Interceptor count, because every time an Interceptor dies, that's 25 more minerals. That's like 1 fewer. Oh, the Zealots are going to try to just run up into the main. Probes being pulled to help fight. We have a pretty big army back here. Storm down on the Carriers. And again, right, like, you have to pick off the High Templar. And honestly, if I were Durandal, right, you would just be making High Templar at this point because gas is infinite, right? You just keep mining gas, and you just build as many Archons as possible. It's kind of like those big, long, drawn-out TVTs, where at some point, they just start making ghosts. Not because ghosts are good, or that ghosts are going to, like, win you the game, but just for the sheer fact that gas is infinite and minerals aren't. Tachometer is suggesting Dark Archons. Mind Control would be a really good play here as well. And we're going to see the Storm. Okay, so the shuttle is going to get taken out. That's going to limit a lot of characters' movement. So Mind Control is another thing that would really sort of make this, as it's also Dark Archon, Storm, like anything that costs energy for you to get value out of is really good in this late game situation. Storms, Mind Control, that's it, right? In fact, like in this position, being the person who went carriers is a really bad idea, because every little bit of value that you get is 25 minerals. And you're going to keep losing 25 minerals. Now, that's not to say, like, carriers obviously are going to be way more powerful just in bulk. But the question is, how are they going to get used? And it looks like they are not going to be able to get much done, right? Because we have the Dragoons. And the Storms, right? So, really, the counters to carrier is Storm. But getting Dark Arc... you know what? I'm actually kind of on board with... our chat here. Dark Archons are sick. I'm fully supportive of Dark Archons. Now we're going to see an attack here on this base. The probes are going to get... Damn, dude. An entire legion. This is the Lil Pep Battalion bravely giving their lives to fucking panic. Yeah, so Durandal's supply dropping really low now. Durandal running out of resources. Character running out of resources. The map can mine out. Oh boy. Jasta saying that it's a smart supply dump. I mean, it is. They could theoretically, I guess, get the 200 on pure army at this point. Yeah, this base looks pretty solid, though. That's not going to crack. I guess the issue that's going to be coming in here, though, right, is the carriers can just keep coming out, poke a Dragoon, leave. Come out, poke a Dragoon, leave. And you probably aren't going to be losing your interceptors, just getting this little bit of value. Now, he is getting the High Templar. That's what I said to do. Character is getting their Citadel of Adun, but unfortunately, they aren't going to have enough resources to actually fully... they'll be able to build a single... They'll be able to build the Archives and 3 High Templar. So again, like, this is just the issue, is so many minerals had to go into making those carriers happen. I have no idea how this game looks. Like, what the... I feel like Durandal should win. Just being able to poke and storm with the High Templar and run back, because Storm... Oh, and also killing this base. The High Templar should be with this army to punish the carriers engaging, but oh my gosh, no, he's attacking into the cannons. This base doesn't matter at this point. The whole thing is mined out. So now these also don't storm the interceptors. Okay, one carrier is taken out. I still think Durandal wins this. But no, not if he pushes into this base, though, because both of our players are so limited. Actually, I don't even fucking know if character can win. We had a pause here, because here's the thing, right? Even if character does kill the army, right? No. So if character kills the army, but he loses too many carriers, then he can't kill the photon cannons. The attacker loses? No, I mean, you just don't attack then, right? You say, hey, I'm not going to attack you because like I'd lose, and you can't do anything because all you have are photon cannons. I mean, again, like Durandal trying to attack in here, this base doesn't matter. Oh god, but he is getting the storms on the carriers. This is huge. So oh god, but where are the rest of the High Templar? So we still have a lot of High Templar here, and he is building High Templar. So it's whose computer crashes first loses? Yeah, basically. Oh, that's not. Wow. Okay, character's base is going to go down. We do have a lot of zealots there. I mean, if character just retreats back here, they have... Actually, hold on. I don't think character can win, actually. We build Archons. Like, even if you just get Archons, right? Archons will shred through the Interceptors at some degree because character's just out of it. Like, they have no resources. Their only army is in carriers. And, like, we have the Dragoons. We have High Templar. We could just, you know, poke in, storm. These carriers are pretty low. I think this should just be GG. I don't think there's a way for Durandal to... Well, okay. There is ways for Durandal to lose, but I think that... I don't think there's a way for character to win. Simply just because, like, oh no, Durandal offers the draw. He has the mate in 5, but he doesn't see it. And Nerfing is saying Interceptor doesn't get splashed by Valks and Corsairs, they get splashed by Archons. Character, I'm not sure. I imagine if we call it a draw, we just replay game 3. I'm opening the official. I have a letter from CPL staff that I must open in a couple of minutes. Oh, Jesus. You know what? I'm just out of here, man. This is... I do think Durandal wins, though. But they don't if they are like, hey, call a draw and replay game 3. Because they already offered it. If they actually go through and try to... Durandal needs Corsair with Web. I'd say character needs that more because the cannons just aren't... The cannons aren't really a big deal for Durandal. It really is character needed the D-Web for these cannons. Yeah, because I don't think the carriers... The carriers might be able to fight these off. But there's just so many, right? And there's also so many here. Yeah, I don't think character can win. This is an easy win for Durandal. And yeah. Wow. But then again, Durandal might not know that he can attack him. This base is going to get cleared up by these zealots. There's a layer of photon cannons here that these Dragoons could shave off and come kill. Again, character mined out has only 10 resources left. I don't think I can attack into you. You don't think you can attack into me. I'd rather... You're saying I'd rather not reveal my hand. Oh no, character! With the fucking mind games. The draw mind games. Tech saying at this point I would attack and leave it to the gods of StarCraft. Well, the gods of StarCraft do not care that this is an official CPL match, and character and Durandal do. Marting saying at this point it's a negotiation. It really is at this point. Fucking the hallucination. Dude, imagine if we just get a huge hallucinated Dragoon army coming in and just like attacks and character has to leave. That's crazy. Oh, he's gonna hallucinate the Zealots so he can fight the That's crazy. That's actually wild. But the question is, Storm on the carrier again. That's what we want to see, but there's no Dragoons here to really follow up and put the extra damage on. Jesus. All right, the hallucination. I guess the issue does come. Seeing the carrier, really smart play, just dips out, picks off a High Templar. It is going to take a lot of damage on the Storm, though. Not as much as Durandal needs it to. Wow. What a game, huh? Is anything... Yeah, oh, they can get High Templar. Yeah. Yeah, see, now the Corsairs. That's 2 Interceptors down, 3. See, yeah, so see... Character just straight up can't attack. I don't think character can win the game. They can only play for a draw. Now we are gonna have some hallucinated Archons. No more high Templar over there. Now here comes the moment of truth. This character noticed that the hallucinations are going on, and they're also building 8 Archons out of High Templar. Damn, hallucinations are terrible. Oh my god. Oh! That's a lot of storms. That's a lot of storms as well, but a waste of energy. How many? Okay, the carriers still do have their energy. But the Archons are getting knocked out. They are just halluc. And there go our remaining hallucination. Oh, that's interesting that hallucination comes up as a build thing. Yeah, I don't know if... Well, character definitely can't win. The question is, like, can Durandal still win? And I feel like that's getting less and less likely. So Commodore saying the Carpet Storm is actually good against carriers. I agree. It's super good. I just think maybe Durandal might be, you know, lower tier, bit new to the game, and they aren't used to fighting carriers in PvP. Oh, here comes the turnaround snipe. Again, if the carriers can pick off the... Oh, okay. Looks like the interceptors are just barely going to live. Oh my god, and it drives the units into the cannons. They're going to get a kill. Oh, Jesus. But again, also, we're kind of seeing the same issue, though, right? Is that now Durandal has to deal with these. They do have to kill those 4 cannons, which they can do with the Dragoons. But it's really hard for them to be able to commit to that, right? Like, if they bring the Dragoons down to fight the cannons like they kind of need it to, I guess you could hallucinate a bunch of the Dragoons. And yeah, never mind. This shouldn't be too much of a problem. We do have a pair of cannons up here. Really, it is just all the carriers. One High Templar gets picked off. Oh, it looks like this Dragoon is going to die at 5 kills. Let's just take a look. These carriers have been putting in some extra work. So Tag is saying blue can't lose. 100% blue can't lose just because of these photon cannons. The carriers, there's no way in hell that the carriers can ever break this. The question has to be then, can blue win? Because right now, I mean, like, character just has to keep monitor on these ramps, and anytime Durandal actually moves down, they just come up, snipe a couple of units, and retreat back. We have 2 cannons here, 4 cannons here, and character just has to play really carefully, and they should be, like, character, I think, can force the draw. Now, Durandal has a lot of storms, but to be honest, the storms so far have not been insanely impressive. Character once again calling out for the draw. Durandal saying they really don't want to play this. Character saying I'll take the battle probes as a no. But here's the thing again, just keep in mind, this is a draw. If oh, and he's doing the wrong attack, so he's using the probe. So this needed to be hallucinations, blunting the photon cannons. We also see, like, the carrier, really smart uses. Just sends 1 carrier out, snipes the High Templar, wastes a bunch of storm. Now this carrier is going to go down though. So that is huge. It was one of the weaker carriers for character, but I mean, Durandal mostly lost No, he only has 2 Dragoons left. This might not be winnable now. I'm almost positive it's not winnable now. Because I don't think it is. Because here's the thing, right? We have 2 Dragoons, an Archon. We have a nice little group of Zealots, 4 Zealots. But if character just kills the Zealots, the Archon, and the Dragoons, even if Durandal... Well, no, because Durandal can make Archons. And the Archons will have to fight up on this cannon there. And we do still have probes as well. So, like, we can, like... Oh, gosh. If these Zealots run in without the 2-prong attacks... Like, what needs to happen is this needs to distract the carriers down here so that the Zealots can get on top of the cannons. I like the nesting of the High Templar up there. That's really cool. But it looks like if the Zealots come in to fight the cannons and carriers on their own or try to get some damage done, that's just not going to work. The carriers are going to... They're backing away from the High Templar. It looks like the Zealots are actually going to get on top of the carriers. Big storm on the carriers doesn't quite work. Probes are going to finish off the Zealots a little bit. Which probe got the High Templar? That probe's a hero. Oh, he died. Never mind. Alright, Zealots getting cleaned up. Oh boy. And honestly, again, character just has to keep these carriers alive. But now with no photon cannons, the High Templar can come in and be a lot more aggressive. It's Commodore saying you can speed it up and cheat you out of this riveting gameplay. Durandal's focused. Honestly, separating the carriers is a really smart play, and then they're going to group back up again anyways. But here comes the carrier. Ooh, that's really dangerous. Now, the thing is, right, I think they just need to poke out and kill the Dragoons first. The High Templar are going to be annoying, but actually, maybe the High Templar are trying to, like, bait out the Interceptors so they can storm on the Dragoons. Interesting. Character down the 4 probes right there. He does need to kill these Dragoons. 6 High Templar left. The 6 Interceptors in this. Oh, character really needs to attack their own Nexus so that the Interceptors are fully cleared out from the carriers, because like that should have been a dead High Templar, but because that was the first like unit those Interceptors attacked, they only came out one at a time. Jesus Christ, is that probe okay? Dude, Phil, are you good, man? What's going on there, buddy? Man's had too many cybernetic implants. Fucking freaking out. Alright, here come the probes. Yeah. Holy shit. I think, you know, like, with the carriers spread out, now he is going to try to just come in one at a time. He has to be real. I mean, it really does come down to the interceptors, right? Oh, we just need to pick off the dragoons. Okay, retreat. You baited a storm. Oh my god. And then here. Oh, this is really good plays. Just rotating the carriers out, baiting out storms. But again, he needs to attack his own nexus so that the interceptors will come out all at once instead of one at a time. There we go. See, now that should be very close to a dead High Templar. And honestly, you would want to sacrifice one carrier to get all the High Templar. He has 7. This one has 7 interceptors in it, even though it doesn't look like it. Ooh, hallucination on the High Templar. That is so smart to bait the carrier shots. Damn, he should have thought of that earlier. But now with the last High Templar, yeah, there's 2 High Templar left. And once they're picked off, it has to be, okay, yep. Oh, he stormed his own HT to try and get the intercept. Yeah, that's it. That's game. No, that's it, yeah. Holy shit. Dude, Durandal has 27 times as many probes as their opponent. Right, fine, I guess, lol. We can replay this. And with that, we're gonna go to game 3. Holy shit. Alright. Let's look at these absolutely ridiculous scores. 500 units produced from either player. 100. This is a lot of photon cannons that were built. Jesus. 9,000 more minerals. Tech. Oh, Jesus, that's not the screen. Look. Tech asking, was it a draw? It was indeed a draw.
I've been sent by the Conclave to serve and counsel you.
With that, we'll move into our 4th game. Our 4th game is going to once again be on Eclipse. Nerf Engine asking, what are the CPL rules for draws? The CPL rules for draws are just, I'm pretty sure, just to replay the game. Draws happen so rarely. So I just don't think, they just don't come up a lot. You can ask Dada or, yeah, I think Dada would know. Alright. With that, let us go back. Let's run it back for the Eclipse after that amazing game. And let's see what is going to go happen in Eclipse Part 2 of this cast. Once again, we really are running it back. Once again, in the top right corner, as the blue Protoss, we have Durandal. And in the bottom left, as our yellow Protoss, we have Character. I would not be able to play after a game like that. I would have been like, listen, I need a break. Let's just play it again in 2 days, because this is too much. And we'll see what our players decide. Honestly, you know what? I'm expecting both players to 2-gate. I'm expecting to see gateways there and there. Because, like, Why would you not after a game like I would do it. So many problems. It looks like character. No, it looks like our players have avoided the salt and are just building pylons in their mains. They're so much nice. They're so much better than I am at this game. They play a game like that and they go, okay, we'll just play another standard game. Oh boy. See, character understands how PvP works, asking if it's 9-9 time, but it looks like our players, well, yeah. Durandal checking for a hidden base, I get. Oh, maybe he's checking for a hidden gateway. Oh, Jesus Christ, what is this? What is this? Oh my god, it's gonna be a hidden gate. But character's already getting 2 gate, right? So this shouldn't work. Oh, it's a 3 gate from Durandal. Character's probe not getting the scout this. Durandal canceled the assimilator. And that is a perfectly placed probe to prevent the opponent from scouting. Forge from Durandal coming up to build the photon cannon in case it's DTs. And now with the 3 zealots, character should be moving across the map. Yeah, character is actually just prepping for a completely normal game. However, this probe should be sort of ringing alarm bells, right? 4 gate zealot on the ramp there. Now this is going to be really dangerous for character because their 3 zealots are going to be across the map, and I think we're going to be just having, you know, some extra zealot. Oh no, he's not mining gas. He didn't have the probes ready for it. It's just 2 guys chilling. See, and that probe tried to fight up, but the pylon there perfectly faking out that he's going to be getting the robo as well. Character did lose a probe, but he's building some extra zealots. Shield battery being made by character. I think character has identified that this is definitely something that's really fucking weird. But the zealots are going to get in here. They're going to see what's happening. And they're just going to start tearing through the probes. Whereas meanwhile, back at home, character does have units. This should be a loss for Durandal. You know, we have the shield battery, the zealots holding the ramp, zealots in the main, going to take out that, really great probe micro there, killing the zealot that was fighting them. But, yeah, they're going to have to get pulled and fight. Now, this is going to be a massive drain on their economy, though. Ooh, nice little pull on that zealot there, keeping it alive. And see, it's already like a 4 probe lead, and now these zealots are going to come out. And characters' alarm bells have to be going off. It's like, okay, these zealots are coming from somewhere. It's not this base. Character does have, ooh, who has a, there's a photon cannon here, okay, but character is getting dragoons, right? It looks like the zealots in the main here were cleaned up, although we are now at a 6 probe deficit. And I mean, once the dragoons start coming out, there really isn't much that Durandal has here. Now, what Durandal needs to do is tech into speed zealots and just do mass zealot. That's the only way they can get out of this game at this point, is surprising character with more zealots than character is expecting. But character getting their robo, holding the ramp, and I mean, if they're going into, oh god, no, the zealots chasing the back. This is going to be really big. If character actually confirms that this exists, Yeah, which, you know, they do. That is that has to be game, right? He's just going to move up and try to kill this. Back at home, Durandal setting up cannons on their ramp, which is fine, but if they lose all this infrastructure with character teching into Reaver, I mean, they're going to be able to bust the ramp, right? They have the Dragoons, they have the Zealots, however, that Photon Cannon is going to prevent them from really kind of pushing in further. I maybe still like to see like the Zealots line up on the ramp here and just the Dragoon taking pot shots at the gateways. But Robo Facility is out, and remember, Durandal hasn't started mining gas yet. So all this tech is all characters based. Now, he is only mining 2 gas. You know what? Sometimes you have the heat of the moment. Looks like a second base is coming up for character. And Durandal is just continuing to fall behind. You know, they had to spend 300 resources to hold gateways that aren't going to last very long. Now, he is going to be getting a hidden base down here in the bottom right. But here's the Robo. And if we see the shuttle and we get a drop in the main here sniping off these probes, which, I mean, is extremely likely, that is just going to be it. Okay. I almost want to see these Zealots kill this gateway so Durandal can expand here. I think Durandal is leaning on cannons way too much, which some people in the chat were saying that they're newer to the game, or that they're newer to like playing at like a competitive level, so, or playing competitively, period. And so building a lot of cannons is one of those bad habits of new players. Or building a lot of cannons like defensively like this is one of those bad habits for new players where, yeah, this is 300 minerals, right? Yeah, sure, you've made it basically impossible for the opponent to come up and break this, but now they just go here and kill your main, or come here and deny that base, right? Here comes the big push out from Durandal. We have about 7 Zealots, but, you know, 4 Zealots and 5 Dragoons, and a Reaver soon to be coming up is going to take care of that very easily. And that's going to be game, right? Like, Durandal's going to have to get their base up here, and they have finally started mining gas. Their Cybernetics core is finally finished. I mean, they could theoretically just start spamming Dragoons out of their gateways. Although, the Dragoons... No, never mind. The Dragoons won't get trapped there. Yeah, Dragoons... Durandal going for DTs. Or, nope, they're going to probably be doing Zealot speed, which, again, is kind of like... if they'd gotten it before the Reaver was out, that would be amazing. But as it stands, that Reaver should blunt any effect that the Zealots have on this game at this point. Wow. Character with the 9 probe lead, about 20 in supply. And actually, with the shuttle, it should be able to spot the high ground for the Reaver to be able to bust this. Observers on the way for character as well. Pick up on the Reaver. It's going to fly around and probably catch this base here. Character getting their observatory and citadel. Yeah, see, so it's kind of the funny thing where this base is going to get naturally scouted just because the shuttle is going to be taking that path up into the main. At least the probe got 2 shots off before it died. Yeah, and so the Reaver's going to be taking out these photon cannons. Durandal really isn't able to go and defend that. They only have Zealots, and Zealots would get completely shredded by the Reaver. There goes the pylon powering the cannons, and that is a supply block on Durandal as well, which is fairly frustrating for them. he's actually just going to leave the cannons there. I guess that's fine. They're not doing anything at this point, and it's the tempo of just coming up to the main to kill the probes is more important. Durandal pre-pulling their probes. This looks like they kind of are accepting that the game is over. And I believe they might just be pulling the probes to have one final push on the main. Ooh, Reaver runs into cannon range. Fortunately, that thing is very beefy, so it's... Oh. So the probes are safe here, but there's Durandal GGing. They are going to attack in, but there's... Oh, I missed this attack entirely, but yeah. That's going to be a game win for character. I mean, honestly, after that game 3, both of these players deserve the win. Holy shit. Someone subscribed at some point. Thank you to whoever did that. But those are our matches for the day. Who subscribed? Nerfing Gen. No, wait, no, that was 19 days ago. Who the fuck? I went from 2 to 3. What happened? That's so strange. Well, anyways, thank you for everyone who tuned in and watched. Special shout out to, to Commodore BR7 House for the bits. That was super cool of you. Appreciate that a ton. Yeah. That was a super fun match. GG's to our 2 players. I'm really glad. Thank you for the character for reaching out and sending me those replays and sort of giving me the tip off that this game was super cool to cast. And with that, that's our game for the day. We're only casting the one because it's been nearly 2.5. It's been over 2.5 hours of casting. So I am going to call it there. Again, thank you for everyone who tuned in. If you're watching this and you're not familiar with what the CPL is, it's the Coach-Pupil League. It's a StarCraft Brood War community dedicated to letting people who want to learn how to get better. The teams are super fun. It's this really cool environment, and you can sign up for it at cplbroodwar.com. And you'll also want to join the Discord channel that is available through the website. Most of you probably are already signed up for it. We might have picked up someone who isn't. And so with that, that's our cast for the day. Week 2 signups are probably going to be starting here pretty soon. So, really looking forward to seeing more games from everybody. Take it easy, bye.